Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the Convex stream. Hope everything is going well. So today we're going to be talking about the Protonet, which is the first live version of Convex, which is going to be launching in the first quarter of this year, and is sort of rapidly heading towards completion. So I wanted to use this call to give a bit of a preview about what Protonet is doing, how it's going to work, and what everyone can expect. 1 second, I'm just checking that this stream is running smoothly. Yep, I think we're live, so that's looking good. So welcome everyone, and what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about what Protonet, what it is, and what we can expect. So why are we doing it, and what it's going to achieve. Um, and then get a bit more into some of the sort of nitty-gritty details, like what are we doing about security, what are we doing about governance, and also have plenty of time for like an open discussion and sort of do any questions and answers on any topics related to Protonet that people are interested in. So if you're curious about Protonet or anything about it, now's the time to ask. So I'll be keeping an eye on chat. If there's any questions, just fire them in, and I'll try and cover them as best as I can. So first of all, what is Protonet? Protonet is the first live release of Convex. So Convex has been in development and testing for several years now. We've had our testnet and various iterations of the testnet running successfully. And as a result of that, we believe it's at a state where we can put it live and actually start using Convex for real transactions, real economic systems, which is after all what it's designed to do. So this is the first step towards really helping bring in this new paradigm of open economic systems using Convex as a substrate. So Testnet showed us that first of all we have this power of the Convex virtual machine, enabling digital assets, enabling very powerful smart contract capabilities. For those of you who've watched some of the other talks, we've talked about one-line DeFi, we've talked about the on-chain compiler, we've talked about trust monitors, we've talked about our decentralized exchange, the Taurus exchange. We've talked about the ability to create tokens of various kinds, so tokenization for real world assets, tokenization for various kinds of financial products, tokenization for things like NFTs. We've also talked about using smart contracts for governance, all of these capabilities that are made possible by the Convex virtual machine. So as Protonet goes live, all of these capabilities become live. So everything that we've been building in Testnet is going to be in the first release of Protonet. So all of those capabilities will run live on day one. You'll be able to use them. You'll be able to test them out for real, with the knowledge that you're using real convex coins and real assets, and that's a major milestone, because of course in testnet all the coins are free. Yeah, you can just ask for free coins and it'll give you them. That won't be possible anymore in Protonet, because this is actually the real convex coins that are being used live. So we're going to have all of these different capabilities, and we are going to have a small number of peers initially. So we'll be launching Protonet with a handful of peers, but it will be a fully decentralized system. So anyone who is able to stake on a peer will in fact be able to run their own peer. So in that sense, it is a fully decentralized launch of the network. As always, we'll be running convergent proof of stake. The tests that we've done show that we'll be able to get sub-second latency and confirmation of transactions, which is super important. And Protonet should be delivering that to everyone from day one. We will also have the features that sort of help the convex tokenomics. So we will have the memory accounting. So there's a memory asset that you can purchase in order to store information and use memory in the global state. That all happens automatically, so you don't need to worry about it. But if you do any transactions that create data that consume resources on chain, then it's going to automatically purchase some amount of memory your available balance to make that operate. So all of these features are things we've discussed before in the various design discussions and in the sort of iterations that have led up to this point, and tested out in the testnet. You know, we're pretty confident that it's all working robustly. Right now, it's going through the sort of fine tuning and just, you know, making sure that everything's ready to go for the production launch. And as soon as that's ready, we'll be going live, which should be in February or March of this year. Hey, question from the audience: can third parties run a peer that joins the Protonet on first release? Yes, absolutely. So so basically the Convex with the Protonet will be delivering tools that anyone can use to run a peer. There's a command line interface as part of the release, and you'll be able to basically use that to launch a peer. In order to properly join the network, you'll have to put a stake on it. The amount of the stake will probably be around 1,000 Convex coins, although that's not absolutely finalized. We can still figure out what the optimal number is. But there will be a minimum stake that's required to operate a peer, or at least to have the peer. Sorry, let me be precise. There will be a minimum stake required for the peer to be able to participate in consensus. You'll still be able to run a peer, but it'll just get ignored by other peers if it hasn't got sufficient stake, if that makes sense. And the reason we do that is just to avoid like people setting up, for whatever reason, 10,000 peers and just spamming the network. So it's mainly as a denial of service prevention measure. We require peers to have, you know, some meaningful stake in order to participate. So it'll probably be of the order of 1,000 Convex coins to operate. But that will be as always open source and open to everyone, so anyone should be free to give it a go, and it should be possible to just spin up a peer, test it for a bit, and then withdraw from the network and take your stake back. So you can stake in and stake out relatively easily. So shouldn't be a problem. Now obviously that will require people to have Convex coins in order to put a stake on a peer, and it'll also require people to have Convex coins in order to execute transactions. So, you know, just like many other decentralized ledgers, the native coins are used to run transactions. How do you acquire the first 1,000 coins? So, great question. So anyone who has been a contributor and has got an award for Convex coins throughout the process will be entitled to receive their Convex coins on Protonet. So what we'll do is we'll get Protonet live. We'll confirm that it's working in this sort of live configuration, and then we'll start distributing coins to anyone who is a contributor and who requests for those to be delivered. So if you're a contributor and you want Convex coins from probably day 2, you'll be able to receive them, and you'll be able to use that. For people who have purchased Convex coins from the foundation and have some allocation of Convex coins, which I think comes in tranches. So you know, you can get the first amount at one point, and then there's a timed release for the remainder of those. If you want, you can take that release of Convex coins again at that same time. Yeah. And this is optional. You don't have to have them, but if you want to receive the coins early and start receiving the coins early, then that's an option for anyone who wants to do that. The reason we're making it an option is this is not the official Convex mainnet. Yeah, this is still Protonet, which is obviously pre full scale rollout with big marketing campaign. It is live, it is fully working, it is real assets, it is real Convex coins, but it's not gone through all of the things we'd like to do to get, you know, the full mainnet live. So it's an option. If you want to participate in that, you can go for it. So Convex coins are purchasable for people who are qualified purchasers. There's a bit of legalese around that, but anyone who's a qualified purchaser and wants to purchase coins, there are coins available via the Convex Foundation. And for those of you who've been involved in the conversations before, we have a release curve. So the first coins are available at a certain price, and then as more coins sell, the price increases. So the earlier coins are cheaper, and the later coins get more expensive. And that's the way that we manage the tokenomics and the release of coins to keep everything under control. There will probably be a few 100,000 coins in circulation within the first month or two of Protonet would be my prediction, because not everyone will ask for them on day one. But good question. So if you've got so for those people who've been active participants in the community and have got some awards, then 1,000 coins. Or you can get them that way. For those who purchase coins, you can get them that way. Or also anyone who wants to just have a small amount of Convex coins just for testing, anyone on the Discord can ping me, and I can drop a few to people who want to test something out. And Convex transactions are super cheap, so you don't need many coins to be able to experiment and do some useful things. Okay, question: with real value traded but no third-party security audits, how can you ensure maximum security? What testing have we done? So we've been testing this thing for 3 years. So we've always had a comprehensive automated test suite, and the test suite includes pretty much everything. It does testing of all the different core functions. It does testing of the consensus algorithm. It does testing of all of the security critical aspects. It even does fun stuff like randomly corrupting data and seeing how the CVM responds to corrupted data and these kind of things. So we do this sort of what they call almost chaos monkey engine, where you're deliberately introducing errors to sort of test the machine. So we do have this quite comprehensive test suite. We've also tested it at scale with our project with the European Union, and it's getting tested every day, by people doing development and testing it out. So far in the whole 3 years, no one's been able to steal a single Convex coin through any kind of security flaw. And one of the reasons that gives us a lot of confidence about that is because we haven't invented any new crypto algorithms. We're only using well-known, proven, best-in-class crypto algorithms like ED25519, digital signatures, etc. So there's no really inventive crypto that someone is likely to find a clever hack in order to compromise people's signatures. So it should be as safe as any other crypto project that uses high level crypto security. What I would say is we have a bit of a fallback in Protonet, and this is I think an important point I wanted to talk about. We still sort of have the governance levers. Yeah, so the Convex Foundation should have a controlling stake on the network in terms of the peers that are staked on the network. And if we have what I'd call a systematic error, yeah, so if we have an error that is like someone breaks the signature algorithm, yeah, and proves that in fact what we thought was a safe signature algorithm actually is compromised, and you can just go and steal everyone's assets and funds freely. Obviously that's not a acceptable kind of security issue to have. In the unlikely event that something like that happens, we will do a rollback. Yeah, so we'll fix the issue, and we will roll the network back to the point where the issue first occurred. Yeah, so we won't if there is a security issue, we will rectify it, and we've got the controls, centralized controls that are strong enough to fix those issues during the Protonet phase. So that should give people assurance that look, if the problem is a fundamental flaw in the security, then we will fix that. We will repair the damage, the transactions that are fraudulent or whatever it is. Now hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's important to have that as a backup if anything does go wrong. So yeah, combining the testing we've done, combine that with the the ability to do a rollback if absolutely necessary. I think the security is pretty strong, but obviously we'd like to keep testing that. We'd like to keep verifying that and making sure that we're comfortable that the security is good as we sort of roll it all out further. I would say that people still have to be responsible for their key security. Yeah, so the private keys that are controlling assets or controlling actors, smart contracts, etc. If it's signed correctly, it is considered correct. Yeah, so don't lose your keys is the standard advice. They're ED25519 keys. We have there's totally standard, so you can use standard key pairs from ED25519. And you can generate those any way you like, but please don't use a website generator that tells you your keys, because that's a big risk. So the usual key security advice applies. Generate them yourself and keep them somewhere very secure. If you're using something like a cold wallet setup, if you're using a hot wallet, it probably doesn't matter too much. Yeah. We're if it's just in your mobile phone or in your laptop, that's absolutely fine for a small hot wallet kind of setup. Remember, because we're still at an early stage, and we still have the ability to do rollbacks, and people know we'll do rollbacks. It's unlikely that there's going to be significant targeting by hackers trying to steal people's coins or assets. But if that does happen, then we'll obviously find ways to respond to that appropriately. But we shouldn't be big targets of people trying to steal assets at this stage. Having said that, make sure your key security is good, because that's the one thing that we can't fix. If people lose their keys, they've lost the control of whatever's protected by those keys. So that's just my top bit of advice. Discord question. You guys have been considered an NFT super rare drop for the founding peers. Yeah, so we will be definitely going live with some NFTs. A question which has been bounced around is, do we have some kind of NFT right for the founding peers that gives some special governance rights? I think we might well do a commemorative NFT for that will provide that kind of thing. But we do want it to be fully decentralized. Yeah, we don't want to have a situation where only a small number of people can ever run a peer, or there's a special privilege right to run a peer that's controlled by an NFT. So yes, it's still a possibility. We almost certainly will do some kind of NFT commemoration for the first 10 or 100 peers. Maybe some sort of medal kind of thing, just for fun. But it won't be a part of the consensus algorithm. Yeah, so we won't make it a requirement to have some kind of NFT in order to run a peer. It should be fine that we just do that on a stake basis. What's the date of the Protonet launch? So we are targeting February. It may be March. We will do it as soon as we're sure that it's stable and it's operationally ready for people to bash on. So it might be February, it might be March. What work is left to be done? So the work that left to be done is so the CVM is all complete. The CPOS is all working. We do have optimization stuff to work on still, but that's not so much of a blocker for Protonet because the transaction volumes probably won't be at the level where we worry anything about the optimization at this point. There's the command line piece. So one of the main outstanding pieces is just getting the command line tools all ready so that people can do things like launch a peer, query a peer, pipe transactions from the shell, all of these kind of things. So that's an important piece. And there's a few minor things in the terms of the libraries and tools that just need tidying up so that they're ready for Protonet. So stuff like um, governance policies for library updates, this kind of thing. There's also a few decisions that we have to make a placeholder assumption for. Like, for example, I mentioned minimum peer stake. It's not totally clear what the right number for that is, because what works for Protonet might not be right for mainnet. So it's possible that we start with one value, but we'll have a protocol update at a later date that changes some of those values. And that's particularly around stuff like the staking economics and the sort of and the transaction economics, where we kind of want to learn from Protonet and say, okay, does this work? Does this cause problems? Does it create the right kind of dynamics that we want? And therefore, do we need to refine that a bit for subsequent launches of Convex? So those are the main things that we're working on right now. So, and then obviously lots of testing. Yeah, so just testing, adding new tests, testing out different configurations, testing out the tools, all of this kind of thing. So anyone who wants to come and test things and hack on Convex is welcome to do so. Depending on how much time there is, probably no fundamental new features. Yeah, so everything that we've got in Testnet is kind of what's going to be in Protonet. Question: how will potential Protonet peers acquire stake? So you have to get enough Convex coins to stake. There'll be no faucet on Protonet, so you can't just get free coins. You have to either acquire them from someone who already has some. If you're a contributor to Convex and you've done some contributions, whether that's code or community or marketing or these kind of things, the coin awards, we will distribute coin awards to anyone who wants to receive their coins. And if you have purchased Convex coins, then you can also request to receive your coins. So you can receive coins that way. And then anyone who has coins obviously can send them to other people. This is fully decentralized. You can sell your coins. You can do what you want from once the coins are live and once they're yours on Protonet. So I mean, probably the people most likely to run a peer in Protonet are people who've either purchased coins or have been, part of the team, or people who purchase coins. This kind of thing are likely to have the ability to put the larger stakes on. Question: can users delegate stake to Convex Foundation peers? Yes. So we do have a delegated stake mechanism where you can delegate stake, which earns you probably not as much rewards as staking as running a peer directly, but it does allow access to some coin rewards. So that's a good option for people who haven't anything else to do with spare coins. You can just delegate the stake onto peers that you trust. And yes, you can get some Convex coins from staking. So basically, the way that the staking works is that the coins awarded to the coins that get distributed to stakers basically get just divided up according to stake. But if there's a sort of separate pool for the peers, so the peers get the peers who are directly staking on themselves get access to a bigger pool of coins than people who are just doing the delegated staking, because they're taking more risk and they're operationally providing infrastructure to the network as opposed to simply providing economic stake to the to the network. So yeah, so the aim is to start with a few peers, but then as more people want to set them up, we'll ramp up and see how many peers we end up with. And this is of course a good test of how many peers is useful or sensible for the network. My feeling is probably 10 to 20 is a sensible number for Protonet. Question: you can't stake until you get the Convex coins to delegate. Correct. Yes. So staking, you have to get Convex coins first, and then you can stake them. So what the way it'll work is, Convex coins get basically held in accounts on Convex, obviously protected by your private keys, and then there's a stake instruction, so you can transfer coins out of your account and into one of the stake pools for each peer. So yes, you need to get the coins first, and then you can issue a command to stake, and then that will put stake on one or more of those peers. And that can include your own peer. So yeah, good questions. So I'm going through the sort of final iterations of the tooling for this. So the command line tools, which hopefully over the weekend we'll have that ready so that people can play around with those and just get used to how it works. But it's pretty easy. It's going to be one lineup for pretty much everything, and we'll give examples of all the commands you can do to operate a peer. And running a peer is pretty easy, I think. There's no super complicated setup. It should run on any internet connected server. It requires a Java virtual machine installed, but that's just a 5-minute installation, and probably most machines have it installed already. So even if it's probably there already. And then there's a Convex executable jar file, which is what actually runs the code, and that includes the CLI. So the whole Convex peer distribution is just one file. Let me just double check how big it is at the moment. It's pretty small. One sec. It's about 40 megabytes. So that's, if you're familiar with software size, that's actually pretty small. And that includes all of the command line tools. It includes the Convex peer implementations, all the peer code, includes all the libraries that Convex uses, including all the crypto libraries and all of the networking tools and stuff like that. It even includes a graphical user interface. So the graphical user interface tool that I've sometimes demoed, that actually is all included within the 40 megabytes. So it's super lean, and I'm actually pretty proud with that from an engineering perspective. We've kept Convex very, very simple and clean from an architectural perspective. It's one file, one command line that can run the file, and therefore there's much less that can go wrong compared to some of these systems that require to install 3,000 packages from dubious online sources before they're actually operational. Really, there's only two things you need. You need a Java virtual machine, which is super standard, super safe, and most people have already, and you need the Convex Protonet jar file, which will be distributed, and obviously we'll make sure we give a hash so everyone can validate it and check the signatures and all of that. And that should be everything that anyone needs to get up and running with Protonet. Okay, another question. What will Protonet look like for the average end user? Is there going to be intuitive dashboard or require some ability to write commands and execute them? So there's a couple of things that there are a couple of things that might be useful. So it should be possible to connect using the developer tools, yeah. So the things like the REPLs and stuff like that to the Protonet directly, and issue commands using that mechanism. It should be possible to do command line stuff. I think this is all for power users, yeah. End users with minimal tech knowledge should not be using Protonet directly. Yeah, if you're going to be a real end user, yeah, if you imagine someone using a mobile app or something, they shouldn't even know that they're using Convex Protonet. Yeah, the app should just take care of all of that for them. So if you think about a mobile app, if you think about a web application, some kind of Web3 online application, that should take care of all of the technical complexity, and that's part of the user interface design for whoever's building that app or that product. So it doesn't really ship with a true end user interface. All of the interfaces that are sort of built into Protonet are kind of tech focused. However, that does not stop people from building whatever they want and connecting any kind of user interface to Protonet. It is super easy to do, and I'm happy to sort of maybe on the Discord give examples of how to interact with Protonet to build user interface stuff. We do have mobile code that and sort of wallet kind of application functionality which does interact with Protonet. So that will be all available for people to build upon. One thing that we haven't done yet is switch over. What we probably want to do and is make it so that the Convex Convex.world website has a ability to use Protonet, so you can switch the sandbox over to use Protonet rather than the Testnet sandbox. We might not have that live on day one, but that would be a nice thing to do. So fun project for anyone who likes ClojureScript and wants to do some upgrades to the sandbox. You'd be able to like switch between sandbox and Protonet. I think would be quite cool. But yes, it will be probably, I'd say, expert friendly, at least to start with. You've got to use one of the more command driven tools to start with for interacting with Protonet. But that's a good invitation. If anyone wants to build those and wants to earn some Convex coins, then that's a good project for people to get started on. Cool, good questions. Any other things on the sort of top of people's minds on the how people work with Protonet? How will the Protonet achieve significant usage beyond the current testnet level if there's no faucet? So typically, an app using Convex would provide a faucet or some free coins to its users. Yeah. So if someone wants to, let's say I'm creating a mobile app, let's say a game, yeah, and I've got a bunch of users of that game. That would provide the facility for people to get coins. So that will pay the coins into their account, or give them some starting coins, or give them the option to buy or top up coins. So if it's a real use case and people need coins, then we can give some coins to people who are building real apps so that they can do that and sort of get users onboarded. And yeah, so we can't really do a faucet because it's a on testnet with real coins, because obviously that just gets spammed. Yeah. So and it's got potential for denial of service attacks and stuff like that. So we need to make sure that all coins go through a proper issue channel to people who've either well, the philosophy in Convex is very much that people who contribute to the ecosystem get coins, whether that's contributing code, whether that's working on the community, on the marketing, or whether that's contributing funding and purchasing coins. So that's how we do the initial issuing of coins, and then how those coins get distributed after that, of course, is up to users and people to decide, and projects, and to decide how they want to do that. So yes, you can implement a faucet if you're an app provider and you want to give the end users some coins to get started. And remember, you don't need that much, because the Convex transactions don't use a lot of Convex coins, so it's not a big economic issue. But yeah, good question. Yeah, we do need to get coins circulated, and I think the way is via real applications and apps, and people of different levels starting to use coins for different purposes. Taurus DEX be active? Yes. So part of the release includes Taurus. So Taurus is the decentralized exchange. So that enables you to take any fungible token and create a market for that. Yes, so there will be a DEX live, and anyone who wants to add liquidity for a fungible token would be able to do so. And the way that Taurus works is it's kind of like Uniswap. Yeah, so there's a liquidity pool. It's an automated market maker, and people can then do swaps or trades, and add and remove liquidity. So yeah, so we will have a DEX stuff. Tokens will be exchangeable, so anyone who wants to create a fungible token can list it on Taurus, and go live with that basically from day one. What am I most excited about for Protonet? I mean, what I'm most excited about is because this has been a few years in the making, and lots of different contributions from lots of different people. And what I'm really excited about is this is the moment where it becomes real. It becomes a tangible thing that has real economic assets that can enable the kind of open economic systems that we want to build. And that's super exciting. This is a major milestone. It opens up all the possibilities we've been talking about, whether that's new ways of doing business, whether that's in the tokenization space, whether that's in the gaming space. To make those go live, we have to hit this milestone of having a network with real assets and real transactions, and real Convex coins, and the real CVM existing live. And I think the title of this cast was Dawn of Persistence. And what that means is this stuff is permanent. Yeah, this is real. So if you put stuff on Convex Protonet, it will carry through to mainnet. Yeah, this is not a test net with fake money. This is the first live version, which will be in preparation for the main network. So if all you do is buy some Convex coins and stick them in an account and sit on them and don't do anything else in Protonet, then you will have those coins in any future version of Convex. Yeah, that will be maintained. So when you say persistence, it is persistent. This is the global state which will carry forward into any future version of Convex, and that's exciting. That's what makes this real. We have the back end for an NFT marketplace. Is it possible for someone to build on that? Yes, absolutely. So we've got a few things actually in the NFT space that are quite interesting. We have a couple of different NFT actors. So the actors in Convex are like the programs that manage digital assets. So we have a few different types of NFTs that are kind of interesting. And we created, I think in one of the other calls, I did a demo of how you could make a sort of NFT shop as a smart contract. So yes, basically everything you need to create NFTs and an NFT marketplace and even smart contracts that deal with NFTs like auctions is there and ready and working and pretty well tested. So if someone wants to create an NFT marketplace, it's mostly a case of saying, okay, well, what NFTs am I going to create, and what user interface, how do I want to present that to users, and what kind of what do I want my marketplace to be like, what I want it to focus on, what niche am I going for, these kind of things. So yes, so from a network perspective, all the infrastructure for an NFT marketplace is there. It's really up to the community and people who are interested in NFTs to figure out what's the best thing to do with that. They're also usable for things like governance or for trust monitors. So we have this ability to use things like NFTs or to act as locks. So ownership of an NFT or control of an NFT is what enables you to access other kind of smart contracts or governance actions, these kind of things. So that infrastructure is also there. So particularly for DAOs or for systems that have maybe some governance process like an appeal system, things like the NFT infrastructure could be helpful for some of those kind of constructs. So yeah, absolutely, you can build on that. We in the one of the mobile apps that that we built, Convexity, there is in fact a sort of little demo NFT marketplace functionality there, where you can sort of buy and sell NFTs, which hopefully we're going to sort of then upgrade and make into a bit more of a comprehensive version of the mobile app in the future. Knock on wood, couldn't be a better time in the market to launch. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I think this is good timing. We've had a bit of a crypto winter for the past year or so, with all of the the various challenges. I would always say that Convex is different. Yeah, Convex is not a blockchain. It is a different kind of decentralized platform, and it is designed to enable different kinds of applications, the kind of mass adoption and real world usage, rather than the sort of speculative nature of a lot of the crypto market. But obviously it is tied. It operates in a related space, and it does seem that sort of the interest and opportunity in the crypto space is coming back, which is great for us as well. Yeah, it has good spillover effects. So yeah, that's good timing. I think depending on what happens politically and economically in the world, I think there may also be a demand for better ways of doing economics, and that's something that I think is exciting. Yeah, that we can create better kinds of economic systems that are open economic systems, sort of consistent with the kind of principles that we've talked about in the Convex manifesto. And it could be a very good time to sort of tap into some of that mega trend, if you like, people thinking about different ways to organize societies and economics. And I also think there's a very good coincidence with the AI and automation trend. So this is going to transform the work and the way that everyone does business, and the way that we organize our economies even. And therefore, it's a great time to be launching what I believe is the most powerful platform for building digital economic systems, and that's only going to be amplified by the sort of trends around AI and automation. So yeah, great timing, super time for us to be launching. We've had to be quite lean over the past year in terms of spending money to sort of get it to this point. But hopefully that's all over soon, and we'll be able to really focus on growing the ecosystem and building awesome products using Convex in the next year. A couple more questions. Uh, some primitives for There are some primitives for DOW infrastructure, if I understand it. Sorry, can you clarify what you mean by DOW infrastructure? Okay, I don't know what DOW is, but if you clarify that, I'll try best to answer it. Will there be any stable coins available? So we don't probably won't have a stable coin on day one. Um, and that is more a case of just getting getting the thing up and running and regulatory things. I mean, one thing we might look at is uh, a a coin which is uh, something like a prepayment voucher, so a coin that can be used to um, purchase things like Convex coins, so a USD or sterling denominated, almost like a voucher token. We just need to check the legalities of doing that, but it's been suggested, and I think it's quite a good idea because that would actually be a sort of price point on the decks, which is possibly helpful. Um, yeah, I just need to confirm with legal on that one, whether we want to do that on day one or not. But yeah, stable coins definitely possible. There is nothing stopping anyone from implementing a stable coin on Convex, as far as I'm aware, and there's also nothing stopping anyone from bridging. So it will be possible to bridge other assets on other systems across to Convex, and it may even be quite a good thing to do because Tora swaps are definitely a lot cheaper than Ethereum swaps. So yeah, so one of the comments just checked a $25 Ethereum swap into an ERC20 is $20 of gas. Exactly. I mean, the economics are ridiculous for Ethereum. It's never going to be viable for end user applications if you're paying those kind of gas fees for transactions, and that's one of the things that Convex brings is the ability to do end user transactions much faster and much cheaper, and with a much cleaner architecture as well. So in terms of the simplicity of the system, it's just light years ahead of what's possible on the other networks. So yeah, anyone wanting to bridge or to build a bridge, that's definitely a good project, and happy to reward Convex coins, by the way, to anyone who wants to build bridging capabilities, because that is definitely something we want to grow in the ecosystem, and get rolling so that we've got good connectivity across different parts of the ecosystem. DAO, DOW should have been DAO. Okay, so primitive for DAO infrastructure. Yes. So what I would say is we have the building blocks for DAOs. So we have obviously the actor capabilities. We have things like NFTs that can be used for governance tokens. We have things like trust monitors that can be used for authorization. We have all of the various tools available in the CVM libraries that would help you to write a DAO. We don't have a canonical DAO implementation yet, so you can't just press go and get a DAO. But if anyone wants to build one, would be very happy to help people to put in place the right pieces to make that work. It's certainly possible. Adam did an implementation of a DAO last year on Convex, which was quite a prototype, but it was super interesting and quite cool. And that did things like voting on proposals and stuff like that. So we know it's all possible. We know all the building blocks are there. Just a bit of thinking about how to assemble those building blocks to get the specific features of the DAO that you want. So, how do you want the voting rights to work? How do you want an appeals process to work? Those are the kind of decisions that sort of shape what the DAO might look like. So yeah, it's definitely something that's a super interesting project. Anyone wants to work on that, just drop by the Discord, and happy to sort of discuss what's there and what could be built and what the possibilities are, because it's definitely pretty valuable. We do have, the trust monitors are quite important there. So the trust monitors are the tool that lets you manage authorization of different actions. So who is allowed to take what kind of action, and for stuff like voting on a proposal, or putting a proposal through once it's got sufficient votes, or deleting a proposal, or launching an appeal, all of these kind of actions, the trust monitors are like the fundamental infrastructure for doing that kind of authorization of different kind of DAO actions. The token implementations, so the fungible token implementations, are probably what you need to have like shares in a DAO. So the DAO would probably be the issuer of a fungible token, for example, so it can distribute voting rights or voting shares, these kind of things. So yeah, all the bits and pieces are there. Just needs a bit of assembly required. Any other questions around any of this? Gaming stuff. So if those who've been following, I did create a sort of a Minecraft clone game. We'll probably, once Protonet is live, try running that on Protonet. So we will actually have some kind of mini Minecraft style world that's actually live on Protonet, which will be more of a fun thing, but I think that'll be that could be entertaining. A couple of people have also talked about building things like card games on Convex, and some other kind of gaming stuff, which is super cool. Again, that's all the bits and pieces in terms of the tools are there to build those. So really, it's the imagination is the limit when it comes to that. Another question: what parts of DID will be needed for identity? Absolutely great question. So Convex does have a digital identity actor, which acts as a database for DIDs, so digital IDs, or decentralized IDs, sorry. And this is consistent with the W3C DID core specification. So how do you create, update, and manage DIDs? DIDs are, as you say, the tools for DIDs are there. They are completely optional. Yeah. So nothing in Convex requires you to have a DID to use Convex. It is totally fine to use Convex with just an account, a pseudonymous account, and the usual crypto keys related to that account. You don't need to have a DID based identity, but you might want one. Yeah, so having it, if you want to reserve a DID, create a DID as a sort of public identity, you can do that. And for certain applications, that's obviously going to be more important. Yeah, when you're talking about trust and verification of who people are, and applications that require things like KYC, might say that, okay, we're going to have a DID, and we're going to validate that DID for different users, and then that validation of the DID can be itself be a decision criteria. Yeah, so you can use a DID, for example, to control trust monitor. Yeah, so if you want to say that you can only perform this action if you provide a valid DID that's been pre-authorized, then that's the kind of rule that you can build into a DAO, for example. So if you want to use the trust monitors and the DID infrastructure together as a means of authorization, then you can do that. So that's a good facility available. It is not mandatory in any way. So depending on your application, you may or may not want to use the DIDs. Predictive market, yeah. So good question. Predictive market for chess grandmasters. Yeah, I mean, so prediction markets. We have got a prediction market actor that should be absolutely fine to run on Protonet. Again, it's the back end of a prediction market, so it's not got the sort of prediction market user interface and all the feeds and stuff like that. But for the back end and for actually doing the predictions and staking on different outcomes, that's part of the sort of suite of libraries that we've developed. And chess grandmasters, that could be a good one. I always think political events is a sort of super interesting thing to build prediction markets around. Lots of different things might make a good sports, esports. All of this kind of stuff is potentially interesting on a prediction market kind of model. So yeah, that's all there and possible. So again, the thing is, how do you want to use it? Yeah, these are tools, and what we're very much focused on doing is putting the power tools in people's hands so that they can do amazing things with them. Another question: when it comes to retail CDBCs, it seems that regulations will limit the size of transactions. Can this be implemented in Protonet? Yes. So you can create a token with restrictions on it. Yeah. So if you wanted to create a fungible token and have a custom implementation that said, we're not going to allow transfers more than 2,000 tokens, for example, that can definitely be done. And you can definitely build a digital asset that has those properties on Protonet. So the answer is yes, definitely possible. One thing I would say about those kind of restrictions is you have to be really, really careful. And I think that people proposing CBDCs don't understand smart contracts, because if they did, they would realize that these kind of restrictions basically mean that the token is unusable with most smart contracts. Yeah. So for example, how would you do a derivatives smart contract where the settlement of the smart contract requires a transfer of 10 million tokens? It's going to break because it's going to breach the transaction size. So and then someone could say, okay, we do it 1,000 tokens at a time until it's completed or whatever. But that creates incredible complexity, and it just adds a ton of things that can go wrong. And it also breaks atomicity. Yeah, the idea that you want to do everything in a single transaction and have the whole thing complete in a single transaction. So a lot of things break if you start putting artificial restrictions on tokens. So while you can build a token implementation like that on Protonet, I would strongly advise against it, because it will probably break. Like even Taurus, yeah. If you were to create that kind of token on Taurus, then it would probably break whenever someone tried to add a large amount of liquidity in one go, or someone tried to do a large trade, because it would breach the transaction. It would just breach the transaction limits. So it's possible, but I'm just questioning the wisdom of those kind of things. But it's possible. The important thing is it's possible. Yeah, if you want to do it, you can. I'll just give the warning in advance about what might go wrong in those kind of situations. But it's probably it's probably an important point. Convex is about making these open economic systems, these digital assets, possible. It's a power tool that gives people the ability to build all these kinds of different systems. And our job is not to decide these things. It's to give people the tools that make all of this possible, and let people implement the kind of you know digital assets and economic systems that they want to see in the world. So in that sense, I think we're providing the right basis and the right foundation to do all of those things. Oh look, I think we're pretty much the end of the hour, but just wanted to say thank you very much for all of the great questions. Some really good questions, some really good things to think about. Hopefully I've given a bit of a a preview of what we can expect in Protonet, and the kind of opportunities that'll be there, and the kind of tools that'll be available. As always, around on the Discord for anyone who wants to chat more, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye for now.